So I've reviewed a satire game, a puzzle platformer, and a casual game. I get the feeling there's some sort of terrible game I have not reviewed yet. Oh yes! A generic shooter. Of course. Yes, I'm missing generic shooter from my repertoire of shit games to review. Although calling Bad Bots a generic shooter is kind of not giving it justice. Although it does subscribe to a lot of the ideas that modern generic shooters have, such as limited weapon capacity and regenerating health, and cover-based combat. I'll get to all that later, though. First, I'm going to talk about the story. It's displayed to you in a comic-style panels during cutscenes in which you go at your own pace. And it's kind of good with this type of thing because it does seem like it belongs in a comic, although the story is kind of stupid. And there's an issue with it, such as you can't finish the game. There's a glitch right at the end where you have to jump onto a platform to get to the final boss. And the platform does not go low enough for you to jump onto it. You see the problem here, yes? I tried everything. Unless that there's some super obvious way that my brain can't come up with, then it's not there. It's stupid. It broke the game. It annoys me. But basically the story is the main CPU unit of your spaceship went rogue and made all the robots murder the people on the ship. And I'm just wondering something, where did maintenance robots get knives, high-tech rifles, and plasma beams when they're maintenance robots, not defense robots? Alright, now to go on to the combat. Now, with shooters, combat is kind of the main thing nowadays. It's all that there basically is. So, me thinking, alright, Bad Bots, it's probably gonna be different. And, I was thinking, okay, it's giving me a different idea to start. It's not, telling me to kill random Middle Easterns. Maybe this is a good game. And so, it gave me my melee weapon, an axe. It was like a puzzle, although it does tell you what to do. That is kind of annoying. And so, after I get my axe, I go through and the first weapon you get is a pistol. So, I'm like, okay, this is a pistol. I'm going to go shoot some robots. And being a linear third-person 2D scroller, I'm just, shooting the regular baddies, and then I see a rifle, so, I go to pick it up, and it drops my pistol into the ether, and it disappears completely. And then I'm like, okay, alright, I'll just use this when there's more baddies, and I'll use this when there's less of them. Hang on, where's my pistol? I can't pull out my pistol. Where's my pistol? It's not there. Alright. They also have a bunch of... So, pistol and rifle are both set under main weapons, and then you have your weapons like a shotgun, double blaster, and plasma circular beam ray thingy that fall under special. I don't know where they got this idea. I mean, honestly, it's only a 20 megabyte game, but DLC Quest was a 20 megabyte game, and even though that game was shit, it was a whole lot more better than Bad Bots in the combat ideal, and only gave you one gun. Only gave you one. And of course, a sword as well. So it gave you a gun and a sword. You see where I'm coming with this? Anyways, so The game does have a cover mechanic, although you can't really call it a cover mechanic because you are never going to use it. The robots are too thick to move out from behind their cover. And where they're programmed to sit is where they're going to sit. I'm not joking. Here is a little clip. The shotgun breaks the game. I mean, seriously, most of the robots can only take one shot from it, and and I know what you're thinking. But it's a shotgun. It's only useful at close range. That is true. But again, the AI will not move out from behind the cover. It'll just sit there, kneeling, waiting for you to go into cover, so that it can shoot at you from behind cover. So what you do is you jump over the cover and you shoot at it. Now, the game feels like it was designed for a fast-paced, run-gun, fun game like Duke Nukem, but it doesn't feel that with the AI only going behind cover and having no strategy beyond shoot the thing. And I know, it's only a 20 megabyte game. What can you expect? But actually, it's 40 now. But whatever. But I was expecting something out of this. This was a good concept. Although Hard Reset did do it first. Whatever. The rifle literally goes pew pew pew, is one of my problems. This is just not the combat. I can't recommend the game for the combat or the story. I don't know what else there is. I suppose there are the boss fights. I guess there are boss fights, aren't there? They are kind of pathetic, though. I only got one film because playing through this game again, I felt would be just, throwing more brain cells to the wind that I could use somewhere else. So, and they repeat the exact same boss fight 3 times, and you know when there's a boss fight coming. Not when you enter the room where the boss fight is, no, right after you enter the room. Because it says, doors closed for quarantine, and then you're like, okay, pull out the shotgun, bring them on. There were 3 distinct bosses that I remember. There was the spider boss fight that jumps on you and then stun locks you with an electricity blast. There are the 3 probes which fly around you and will occasionally shoot at you, but they get stun locked so easy that it's not even funny. Then you have the pile driver guy, Jack, I think his name was, who will run up to you and just start beating on you, and he won't stop. This stun locks you. Unless, of course, you jump in the split second between his attacks. In which case, you'll just get hit hard, but you won't get stun locked. And he has the weak spot the size of a grape. There are 3 bulbs on his back. The one in the middle is his weak spot. Shoot that, and you win. That's all I'm going to tell you. Now, as for the boss fight, they repeated 3 times. At one point, I was running through, and there was a huge corridor, and around the time I hit the middle, it said, warning, doors closed for quarantine. Thinking, alright, bring the next generic boss fight to me. And then 100 of the melee enemies come running out. And I am running around, I am freaking out, and at this point, I dropped the shotgun, and I picked up one of the other special weapons that dropped, which was a plasma cannon, and I'm thinking, okay, this is fast-paced, this is fun, oh my god, this is what I got the game for, and I'm shooting, and when it's finally done, I finally felt like the game had done something right. 10 minutes later, I get into another large corridor, the exact same thing happens. 20 minutes later, the exact same thing happens, only the horde was only about 10 robots strong. It was pathetic. There are a lot of problems I can say with this game. The boss fights, the combat, the AI, the glitches, the story, and the fact of the matter is, it's like a $10 game. It's a $10 game. There are better $10 games out there. You can buy the original Deus Ex game that lasts a lot longer for you. There aren't as many glitches. I mean, if you can put up with the graphical issues, you can buy that and still have $3 left over. The game suffers from a lot of problems. Of course, it does have a checkpoint system, because what game doesn't nowadays? And the checkpoints act as saves. I don't know why they can't just call them saves. It'd be so much easier. And you could save some of that data used to put in the extra 5 letters and maybe make better AI with it. You know, that's always an option. Nope. That I cannot recommend this game to you unless you need to get rid of $10 really, really fast, or you want to punish yourself. Now, usually this is the point of the review where I give a score, but, you know, as has been pointed out to me by some of my colleagues, my scores tend to throw off the entire Richter scale, because when you give a 7 out of 10 game a 1 out of 10, it just tends to throw it all off. So, you know, when people start comparing scores and then mine's brought in, you know, I'm just going to stop giving scores, and you guys can figure out whether or not I'm recommending a game by whether or not I say I recommend this game. I do not recommend bad bots, unless you, sir, there's no analogy that I can use there that is not tortured. See y'all next time.